All right, here we are, Impact and Influence Radio, right here on Opera. And today's broadcast is brought to you by Blinds of Sacramento, Sacramento's complete solution window covering experts. Give them a call, 916-790-8689 or blindsofsacramento.com. Now today, got a gentleman in here, Mr. Paul De La Torre, a local legend.
You are flattering me, man.
And, I say that because, really, you know everybody, and you've been around for quite some time, and you're very well respected. And your name has, remember, before I started coming to your events, your name was being passed around. I had seen your name, at least a half a dozen or more times just around, and then getting to know you, I can see why people...
You sure it wasn't a hit list?
Maybe. Maybe. You remember on the movie Billy Madison? You remember when the character played by Steve Buscemi? Remember he had that hit list? And
yeah, that's right. He's going through it all through
all
the whole thing.
All the people that made fun of him.
He's trying to go back to all of them.
So we're going to be talking about two things today. I want to touch on LegalShield because I have some questions for you, but I think what I really want to talk about, honestly, is the Capital Business Connection and what you're doing for businesses in the community. I think tying the LegalShield into this, and I think you really need to tie your LegalShield into the Capital Business Connection because every single person that comes in needs to protect their business, every single one of them. And I would sign up, but I'm already signed up for LegalShield. But I have an actual very direct question for you on that. So, how you doing, brother?
I'm wonderful. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, and again, thank you for finally getting on here. I know that you're busy. So before we really dig deep, who is Paul De La Torre?
Boy, who's Paul De La Torre? Is a guy who's really, and as you mentioned, very passionate about small business, passionate about life, really, because those two go together. If you have a small business, you want to be able to be successful, but you want to be able to enjoy life. And if your business has got troubles or you're trying to grow it, life is not too fun. It sucks. Yeah. So my whole point is what can you do for a small business? Help them grow, show them that you care, not be just another number that comes through there and trying to sell them something.
Why are you so passionate about helping small businesses? I mean, it's a very selfless place, and it can go selfish very quickly. So why are you so passionate about it?
Well, it's easy to point to what am I going to get out of it.
We have to get something. We have
certainly.
We have to pay bills. We have to eat.
Certainly. I try to build relationships. But with small businesses, what I've learned, because I've run restaurants, I've run automotive shops. And one of the things that I've always realized that, people who come into your business, you get regulars. Then you get people who are onlookers. And sometimes those onlookers don't know much about your business. You can go to a franchise. You can go to McDonald's. You know what you're going to get. But if it's a mom and pop place, right, what is it that's so special about them? Well, then you start finding out that they got a personal family. They got these things going on in their lives. One of my buddies lost a disabled child to death, but he continues running his business because he knows his family is very important to him. So when you're telling these stories to people, because those are the kind of stories that the community says, I want to support. And so they come out and they find out, wow, this is a real great establishment. If it's food, if it's insurance or anything like that, it's a tough sell for insurance because they're the dime a dozen, so there's got to be a huge trust factor.
I tell people all the time, I don't know what I'm going to talk about on the show. First of all, nobody gives a crap who you are. Nobody's going to listen to your show to hear you talk about insurance. They're not going to do business with you, certainly, to get insurance unless they really like you. And so I say, you know what? Let's just not talk about your business at all. Let's talk about who you are, because that's what's going to sell them. They're going to decide whether they want to do business with you once they get to know who you are. And I don't give a crap what it is that you sell. You could sell popcorn. We know somebody that sells popcorn, and there's a niche for it, right? There's a market for it. I don't care what you're selling. Every single person on this planet needs every single thing that we're selling. Everything that's for sale on this planet, every single one of us needs some degree, unless it's illicit, obviously. Right? But you mentioned restaurants.
But here's the deal. There's a lot of places that do that. So the personal part about it is people start coming and then here's an example. Cheers, right? You had your regulars, right? Norm, right? Everybody.
Yes.
So what did that do? That created this community in there. So now if someone came into my buddy's restaurant and they're saying, Joe, the same old, and you want the same thing? Absolutely, right? Now you know that this person, cares about you. And matter of fact, I've seen him do extra. Matter of fact, I've gone in there and I go, you gave me more of something. He goes, absolutely, buddy. So those are the kind of things you do with building relationships.
My wife was a barista at Starbucks, and she, people would come in to get their coffee, and the regulars would come in, and I mean, they've been in 75 times. She would see the car pull in the parking lot and immediately start making the drink. So by the time they put their order in, the drink was already sitting there, so they're in and out of there. And so
that's a big deal.
That's huge.
That's huge. That shows that that business cares, but the other person took the time to come there.
Correct. And that loyalty is
is such a huge factor,
so
no matter what you do.
You said you used to work or run restaurants. Anything in town that you would know?
Jim Boy's Tacos. I knew the original franchise owner, the ones that got started, and so they brought me in, and then I went to an independent.
Which one?
So I've been on Valley High. I've been in Elk Grove. I've been in Lodi. So, but I knew the Knutsons really well. Matter of fact, their daughter just passed away. Sad situation. But they had a family called the Repasers who kind of took this thing to another level. And so I worked with them. Downtown, 29th and N Street. I worked at that one. And so
I used to know some of the owners I'm still trying to figure out where the hell I know you from.
Do you know Roy Perez? John Avilos? Those are the ones I know. And then the Repasers, of course. But
the one that owns the one in Roseville, I got to know pretty well over the years. The one on the corner of Kirby and Sunrise, right there.
You sure it's not Roy Perez?
Maybe. I don't know the name, but every time we see each other, it's friendly.
Yeah. So that's a situation that I've learned from. They've certainly had a brand, footprint. Yeah. But there's small businesses that are independent that don't have that footprint. And so that's where what's that?
Why'd they change their chicken?
Yes, you know what? Don't get started on that. No, I've told them 100 times. Why did you go to the white meat? Dude, they used to.
Chicken was so good. It's not the same.
It was do you know what? Not to get into Jim, but literally their chicken was the best of any Mexican restaurant. And they used thigh meat. Right? Thigh cube. And it was seasoned so good. And then they went to the white meat. And I don't even buy the chicken anymore. Yeah. But some people like that, I guess.
It's so different. It's not like it was.
No, dude, why would you even touch my Achilles heel? I did not like that. I always would order a chicken enchilada and a beef taco. And now I just do all beef because I just don't do the chicken. So funny. That's hilarious. But anyway, the point is that they have their footprint. So this is why I care about small businesses.
And see, right there, that's the moment, right? And so the moment is now we have something that you and I could laugh about, that no matter what happens in our life, we're going to sit there. It's an inside joke, but it's one of those things where people that are going to listen to the show 8 minutes in, they're going to go, dude, what in the world did they do to the chicken?
That's right.
And it becomes an entire conversation.
And they may even start contacting franchise and say, I never thought about this, but we got other people that were involved in. And then my name will drop, and then I'll be on a hit list.
Right. All right, so talk to me. What is it that you do now? What are you doing?
So my thing is with Capital Business, but I've been part of LegalShield since '98. I'm passionate about that again because of small business. And originally, I was in the middle of a divorce and I was financially strapped. Roy Perez knew for Jim Boy's a long time, and some other people says, "Dude, you need to become part of this company, and this is what we're doing." So I did it really out of necessity, and so I started going out there and selling memberships. And I started selling, not really knowing much about them. I was like, you need this, like that. Started getting trained up pretty much into it. And so it became a passionate that, I use a lot of it in my life. My life, just the name legal. Like I have a license plate that says go legal.
Yeah, but we've got, with our business, we're going to be using LegalShield to send out cease and desists to everybody that's using impact and influence.
That's right.
And especially there's one that's using our logo, our font type, and the gold ampersand. And I mean, that's a big no-no now that we're, I mean, it took, 2 years to trademark this thing, but the point is that, now we're going to be using LegalShield. I mean, it's $50 a month. That's what you're paying for.
That's right.
It's wonderful.
But here's the other thing. Sometimes you wake up in the morning and you've had an issue. And instead of making a financial decision on that question, you pick up the phone or you go through the app, which is very important, and you put it in there exactly what you want to talk about. If you're that busy of a business, you put your time in when you want a little period that you want to be called. Otherwise, they'll do that within 8 hours. Now you're able to talk to a qualified attorney. We're talking about AV, BV rated attorney. That's the only ones that they use. And why that's important is because they've gone through a history of checks and balances where you're not just calling some Joe Blow.
And the legal firm is in Roseville.
Now it is Madison Associates.
The one that for us is located in Roseville. I can literally go to their office if I need to.
Right. And that's changed because California has grown in memberships exponentially, that we used to have Parker Stanberry in the heart of LA. But the point is that, again, you're able to now talk to an attorney and say, look, I have an issue here. What do I do about it? Now, here's the key. And when I do presentation, I say, hold your breath. How long can you hold your breath? Everybody has the same air. Sometimes you're going to hear what you don't want to hear. The reason why is the law is applicable to everybody.
Correct.
So someone's going to tell you, look, this part here, the law's on their side. I've known people that spent thousands of dollars in investing in some kind of foolish law thing, to pay for something, and found out that they didn't have any rights in that matter.
I know.
And that's where LegalShield comes in, and you're able to get your answers. And it doesn't matter if it's your business, it's your personal life too.
But the other side of it is for your business, you're $50 a month. You need deductions anyway. You're either going to give it to the government.
It's a massive deduct. It's a
$600 a year that you can just boom, nice little chunk, and essentially it just pays for itself.
Right, exactly.
Total no-brainer.
Yeah, it is.
Total no-brainer. And well, obviously that's why you're passionate about protecting people.
Exactly. And it doesn't matter if you're Wall Street person investing, or if you're Main Street business, or you're a family.
So the question I have is, I've been wanting, you saw our Opera platform, you see what we're working on. I was throwing ideas around about launching Opera Finance and Opera Legal. But what I would really want is a platform that is point and click, right? And so essentially somebody could go into our platform and say, okay, I want legal services, boom, I want this one. They click on it, they could sign up and do everything. I don't want to deal with the customer service and sitting down with them and handling all the stuff. But at the same time, it's got to benefit the house. I've got to make money on this thing.
Right. So here's an interesting part of that. There was a company that did a thing I wish I had remembered the name. It was a marketplace. And so you can become a part of this marketplace, but they would earn money in order to do events around Sacramento that benefited people. So they did a lot of things like that to help. Golf tournament that helped somebody with cerebral palsy and stuff like that. So we wanted to get into that, but they already had someone that was with LegalShield. So that's what you're basically suggesting. You're suggesting having something where someone can click onto and say, this is what I'm very much interested in being part of as a membership. But now they have the marketplace for it.
Yeah, and I obviously I want to make sure that the house is getting paid, that we're getting paid.
Certainly.
Right? But I don't have time to go to meetings and trainings and all that. I don't have time for it.
But it's the same thing that we offered them, is that they become a part of the process.
All right, we'll talk more about that.
Yeah, that's right.
Because that might be the angle. And the other thing is the financial side. And so my buddies with Primerica, and so we were like, well, do we want to offer something like that again? It's an entire conversation. Whatever we do, it has to make the house money, or it makes no sense. But at the same time, we have to be fair to the members too. I can't just put you under legal when I have two other people that do legal, and then I end up hurting the relationships with other people.
Right.
We've got to make sure that we do things right.
No, it's a very easy process.
Yeah. What types of clients are you looking for?
So it's A to Z, really. I mean, it could be anybody because everybody needs to be able to have access to the legal system. It's the thing that people have been priced at. They, it says that justice for all, everything is that, but it's only as green as the money as you have. And so we want everyone to have access. For example, so we talked about small business, but what about mom and pop?
I know.
Mom and pop has a 16-year-old son. He just got his license. And what if somebody pulled over your son and starts asking him questions? Where are you been? Where did you come from? Where are you going? Can we search your vehicle? There's an adolescence aspect of some young people. Some of them are very mature. They're panicking. They don't know what to do. So I would always recommend to my son is say, are you planning on questioning or detaining me? They have to answer that. If it is, or why did you pull me over? If they can't succinctly say why they pulled you over, then it's an unlawful stop. Because sometimes then there's a profiling violation. Now, I'm not just saying racial. It could be driving while young.
We've all dealt with that. We've all dealt with that.
It's about driving while young. You're a teenager.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to find something with this kid. So the first thing you do now is you tap the app, and now you have access to an attorney.
Well, furthermore, what about the kid? He's got his GPS. He's punching the address in. He's going to go, bring grandma muffins. And he's on the phone, and he looks down, and he rear ends somebody, and that person's injured. That's a felony.
Right, exactly. If somebody dies.
Or
right?
Injury.
So,
injury is...
You could be vehicular homicide, vehicular
you're,
negligence.
You're in serious trouble. If you were looking at your phone, it is game over for you, dude. Adult or child, doesn't matter.
Nothing, that's right.
And so, and it can happen to any one of us. That's the thing. And so, that's again where that legal protection, you're going to want your ass protected.
Right. But again, it is a use now product. You certainly don't want to use your insurance unless you have to. But this is a now product. You can use it now. It doesn't go up because you used it. You could use it every single day. You can use it several times a day, and it does not go up.
Now, talk to me about Capital Business Connection and what you guys are offering and why this is such a special group. I know it's a special group, but why do you see it as a special group?
Well, we're going through some growing pains. We're trying to access people who are really willing to work as a community. And when I say by that is there's just a lot of things we can be involved with, nonprofit organizations and things like that. I always feel when you're giving to the community, people notice that and they like doing business with people who give back to the community. Now, we don't charge anything for our membership, but we just want the aspect of your professionalism, your insight. I've always said at a table full of advisors, there's much knowledge. I don't ever claim to know everything. Knowing you, come to know you, I'm picking up on things already, right? You offer them, right? You say, dude, absolutely, knock it out of the park. And so that's the thing with a lot of people because they all have these different aspects and viewpoints. Some have come from high, paying jobs where they're executives and now they're owning their own business. So they absolutely know more than I do. So I would never lose fact that that's a message that I could use to further the group. And at the same time, when we're together like this, I use social media that way. I would hope that they would do it too, because there's nothing like a personal recommendation. So if I go and say, for example, this magazine that I spoke today, and it was a absolute no-brainer to be part of. Now that's coming from me. That's not like you saying, "Oh, this magazine is doing this and this magazine." No, you have an insight. You got an insight. You want that to happen. But if I'm going to go out there and speak about you, that's carrying tons and tons of people that I know. In respect, maybe some don't, but at the same time, because I never say that I'm all that.
Oh, no.
But dude, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But what I'm saying is that more and more people use social media that way. If you're a business owner, it doesn't hurt for you to say, I ate at this restaurant, it was the bomb. Or I'm working with this insurance guy. I trust him immensely. Most of the times they're sitting there talking about their own business and they're not talking about others. That's what I want with Capital Business Connection.
What I like about your group is that it's not inflated. It's very important.
Good point.
It's very important that that it's not inflated. I also find that every single time, every month that we go out to the event, there's different people showing up. It's got a very, very good reputation. There's some networking groups in this town that are young that don't have a good reputation. Yours is not young and has a good reputation. And, people have said, yeah, but it's a small group. Small groups are good groups. Small groups are good groups because you get more time to actually get to know those people. And there's more community. You can sit down and really have a great conversation. I like the popcorn one when we were all just sitting there at the tables and just sitting outside telling each other trivia.
That was a great trivia night, wasn't it?
And telling jokes. And it was just creating memories, and every single one of us put our foot in our mouth at one point throughout the evening. It was wonderful. It was
great.
Amazing. It was amazing, and that's where you're going to really get to know people, is in those moments. Yeah, you can shake hands and get business cards all day long, but you still don't know anything about that person. And the fact that we're all sitting there and sharing stories, that stays with you forever. And those moments is what people are going to recommend. Hey, I want to introduce you to so. Did you know that so and so blah blah blah, and so that's it. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
And so that's what we're doing with our group. And I urge all of the other networking groups to get away from the handshakes and start doing relationship building. But they're going to figure their model out. But
right.
I like what you're doing.
I'm going to add something to that. Preface this by, there's a group in Elk Grove that before I reintroduced Capital Business Connection and bringing in Duran Whately into this, because I had this hiatus since like 2016. Mm-hmm. But there was a group, it was nice, but we're getting together every single, month or whatever. There was just really nothing, exchange in a way to say there's a relationship building. But then when I found out what was happening is that what they were doing is they were collecting info. So their main objective was when people sit over there in Eventbrite or whatever, or that day, they're collecting info that they put them on a mailing list, and now they're selling them. Mm-hmm. They're selling them whatever they're doing, if it's inspirational packages to learn it. And I was like,
that should be happening anyway. Honestly, you should be doing something of that concern. But there's a right way and a wrong way to do it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Because if you're only there to sell,
yeah.
See, for me, when I take a name or number or something like that, and we make a connection, first always trying to find out what is it that they're looking for, what are they needing, what's their customer. If
you were doing data capture and saying, okay, well, sending them all your LegalShield stuff. There's nothing ethically wrong with that or legally wrong with that, but it's obnoxious.
Yes,
but
it is.
Instead, if you took and said, sent an email out each month or each, every couple of weeks or something, and said, hey, our next event is coming up on the 16th.
That's what I do. Yeah.
I would love to invite you. And then at the very bottom, there's a little link that says presented by or sponsored by LegalShield, and then there's a link that then goes in.
Wonderful.
Now that's a classy way of doing it. And so they, we went to one the other day. I'm not going to mention names, but it said open house mixer. And so what's an open house mixer, right? We go to a business and we walk around a business. This was actually an open house. It was at somebody's house. It was a realtor at somebody's house, and they had a mixer at an open house. And I just found that to be the most unethical, it was so misleading and so frustrating because we had invited all of our people. And that was one of the deciding factors for us. Like, okay, we're going to do our own thing because this is crazy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying about. There's really nothing wrong with having a contact list, but how are you using the contact list?
Correct.
Because
are you misleading people?
Right.
If
Ultimately,
you are,
right. Ultimately, I'm going to be straight as an arrow on this one. I never, and I mean never, lead with my product. When it comes to set,
but you shouldn't,
right? But that's how it is. When you're now sending someone and say, "Well, thank you for connecting at our mixer. Here's another event. This is $125, a mastermind or something like that. Then I'm like,
Yeah.
and
What
that
do we do?
just,
We give radio shows away all day long.
yeah, that's
Right?
excellent. This is a great format
And
right
then,
here.
and then the other side of it is, we're going to introduce you to the magazine and our platform, but I'm not going to shun you if you don't sign up for us with us.
Right.
You get the radio show.
But this is a no-brainer, dude.
Well, I know.
No, you got me. You got us. Right? You got me. Matter of fact, I'm going to go to my business partner and Duran and tell him he's going to do it too.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing: if we do him and I, because he's one of my partners. If we're going to do LegalShield together, I'm not going to do it under one membership. He's going to have to do it too. So that way we can do that.
But the other thing, I was mentioning the other day, we had some older gentlemen in here, and you've got different demographics, right? And so there might be a client that I want to send to Duran versus send them to you, because I know the energy is going to be different. I know that he's going to be able to satisfy that cultural element better than your cultural element. That's
perfectly fine.
And that's the point, right? Is that we want to connect people that are going to do business with each other, not once, but for establish real relationships.
Certainly. Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay. Paul De La Torre, 916-752-1633, 916-752-1633. Both LegalShield and Capital Business Connection, capbizconnect.com. Anything you want to add before we get out of here, brother?
No, I think you hit everything.
Boom.
This has been a great idea. Wonderful time. Respect what you're doing, and you're the first one that I know that has come into Capital Business Connection at the same time you are getting something out of this,
100%.
what you're bringing to the table.
Yeah.
You bring people out,
Yeah.
and we love it.
Yeah. Well, if you want something in life, you have to give something. And so I think loyalty is a very important thing. That's why Frank is still with me after all these years. Have you met Frank yet?
I don't think I met Frank.
Okay, so Frank's my right-hand man. He's been with me for 11 years. He started as a guest on one of my radio shows. And, he's an older gentleman now. I mean, he's in his mid-70s, and he's retired and forgetful and clumsy and, just what...
But wise.
Very wise. Very, very wise. But the point I'm making is he's not the man he was 15 years or 12 years ago or 11 years ago when we started working. The point I'm making is that loyalty, he's still here after all these years. He did the movies. We did 5 movies with me, and he's still here. He never asked for a penny when it came to the movies. And so now he's earned that piece, that he gets a piece of everything that comes in the door. I don't have to give that to him. It's a handshake. There's no contracts. I just do. And the reason is because of that loyalty.
Loyalty and respect.
Yeah, I think loyalty goes a really long way. And when somebody breaks that, you're never getting it back, dude.
Yeah, it is. It's a very important thing.
916-752-1633, capbizconnect.com. Hey, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
And
this has been really great.
Absolutely. And thank you guys so much for listening. And, of course, you'll see all of their events up on our calendar. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.